That's right. It is the La Femme Film Festival 2020. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. This is the first ever virtual live chat that we've done ever. And again, we appreciate each and every one of you. It's going to be a topic of discussion for quite some time. You know, filmmaking, how do you do it during coronavirus? Well, you do it the way we're doing it. Yeah, it's via our partners over there at Sia.live. And I'm telling you, you're going to be super happy if you just go and check it out. There are a variety of passes that you can get. And look, you're going to have panels, discussions. If you're a filmmaker wanting to get into distribution, there's some cool panels for that. There's other great panels about script writing. There's so much more. But we're going to have some filmmakers around the corner with us, joining us in just a bit. But I want to give you kind of a glimpse of what you can go and do right here, right now, in order to support the filmmakers that you're going to see on this broadcast. And I want to show you right here the La Femme Film Festival, made by women for all. Again, the La Femme International Film Festival. This is their 16th year. Okay, they've done it consistently each and every year. Really great. And to show you just some of the films here that are going to be featured, I'm telling you, if you just look at some of the trailers here, you're going to be really, really like ecstatic. In fact, I've seen a few and I'm like, man, how can I get it all? So without further ado, I just want to show you, if you click on the home page here, and we posted the link, by the way, for you to see and click on it, there are several different passes that you can get. There's the all access pass that includes everything, okay? Then there's the film pass, there's the panel pass, and there's single tickets. Now, obviously, if you're somebody who is supporting maybe a family friend, you may, of course, just think about the single ticket price. But the panel pass, let me just give you a minute here to look at the panel passes that you can get right here. Okay, using your, and these are typically things that you go ahead and show up for and you see them in person, but we're doing it all virtual, so it's all going to be live in the moment for everybody to see. So you're not going to be alone on this, by the way. But look at the first panel. Using your short as a proof of concept to gain exposure for your feature in Hollywood. Stevens College presents Opening the Doors in Hollywood, Building Your Team. Pitching, writing, creating a story that will sell what Hollywood is really looking for. What does distribution look like for the indie filmmaker? Getting your film sold, especially during coronavirus. Oh my goodness, people. Then there's the WGA Committee of Women Writers presents Telling Women's Stories. Sony Pictures Entertainment presents Meet the Executives, talking about trends. And the La Femme International Film Fest free lobby access. And of course, you got to purchase that. But look, all of these names and much, much more. Okay, so that's a lot already. That's $29.99. If you just want to get the film pass and you only want to see films, that's $19.99. And if you want to get the all access pass, that includes everything. And it supports great filmmaking at its best. So look, either way that you think you might want to do it, I recommend you to go get it. I'm going to go get the $49.99. I got it. Can I get the hookup? No, I got to pay. Got it. Okay. It's a thing, all right, people. But it's a thing that I know many of you are going to appreciate, because let's face it, there's like films that I'm waiting to see in the movie theater, and there's no movie theater open currently, other than the drive-in. But you could do this virtually starting this week. How cool is that? Starting this Thursday, you can go ahead and, well, you can do it even today and go ahead and get in line, pretty much, right? But how cool is it? You don't have to get ready. You can watch in your favorite attire, get your friends, well, the coronavirus-free friends, right? Or family members. And what's better, I love this part about Sia Live. We get to tune in with other people across the globe, wherever they're at. So you get to make friends, you get to see people in the lobby room. It's great. It's fantastic. And you're going to have Q&As with the filmmakers. Speaking of filmmakers, joining me waiting in the lobby over there is somebody who I really can't wait to talk about. She has a film. It's called Lancaster Park. I checked out this trailer, and I'm telling you, it is, well, you know what? Joining us right now, let's see if we could get Linda. I hope I got it right. Linda, I don't want to mess up your last name. We got Linda Rice? Rice? Please tell me it's Rice. Reese, there we go. Linda, hello. Thanks for joining us. I got to ask a really quick question. Where are you joining us from?
My coronavirus-free living room in LA.
In LA, fantastic. Okay, so we're in the same neck of the woods. Look, Linda, let's jump into this, okay? Lancaster, I've been to, but you really kind of put a really good spin. Talk to us about the story.
I wanted to do a story that looked at single parenting and also how far you would go to protect the ones you love, even if they did something that you thought was awful, and what would happen if you were wrong. What would the guilt? So it's all about parenting guilt and misassumptions. And I'm a single parent, and my daughter is now nearly 30 and awesome. But we had some moments in her teens where they just don't talk to you, and so that we address that too in the film. And it's different dynamic when you're a single parent.
Linda, I'm so glad you mentioned that. During this pandemic, which the whole world is in, right? I don't know if you're going to do your next film on that with, being a single parent during coronavirus, but during this film, I could imagine that you had some pretty fun moments behind. How long did this take to put together?
We did it pretty fast. I had the script for a while, and I was sort of holding on to it. And then I, from first day of pre-production to having a finished product was maybe 3.5 months. We shot in 3 days, so for a short film, it was fast. But I was also on a mission to just do it and get it done. So I opted to do my fundraising after.
Interesting. So you put everything on the line to start with. I got to say, first of all, Linda, look, it seems like you're no stranger to the world of filmmaking. To people out there, especially independent filmmakers, what's your bit of advice that you say, look, you got to get this right before you go all in?
I think that the two things that I mean, aside from a great story, which you can have the best people in the world on something, and if it's not a great story, it doesn't make any difference. You can't polish, what. But after a great story, good actors, but it's really interesting. I've seen a lot of shorts in festivals where the sound sucks or design sucks. And the story's great and the acting's great. And it's like if you just had somebody who came from an art department background go, look, if we just tweaked this over here and popped that little picture there or something, give some zhuzh behind you. Or sound is so important. I have an amazing sound designer, Matt Yoakum, and I will never do another movie without him because he taught me so much about all the layers that you can get with sound.
Well, and Linda, look, I know I would love to have you for forever, but Linda, obviously being part of the La Femme Film Festival, is this your first year?
It is. I submitted my first film 2 years ago, and we didn't get accepted, unfortunately, but I did attend. And I thought it was a really awesome film festival, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Leslie, whose festival it is. So I'm excited that we got in this time.
Well, I can't wait to see it. It's Lancaster Park. Again, Linda, thank you for spending time with us here on the La Femme Film Festival virtual meetup. And stay safe over there, okay? And for those that want more information of your fantastic film, is there anywhere they can go or follow you?
You can follow Lancaster Park Short Film on Insta. The same handle for Facebook.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, thank you. Bye,
Be
everybody.
safe. Okay, we'll be right back with more right here at the La Femme Film Festival 2020. That's right. Joining me right now is somebody who has done a really good, well, look, Queen of Newburgh. I got Lisa Cole. Lisa, good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Hi. I'm the co-writer of Queen of Newburgh. So glad to be here.
Yeah, well, look, Queen of Newburgh is an interesting take on, and you did a very interesting collaboration. Can you tell me, for those that are watching for the very first time, how would you describe your film?
So it's a screenplay at the moment, and we hope to make it into a film. Working very hard on that goal. Yeah, so I'm the co-writer, and about three and a half years ago, I traveled to a town in upstate New York called Newburgh, New York, and I I was working there with someone helping them try to finish their documentary, and I was taking a look at some footage, and I saw a young woman in the background of the footage, and I asked about who she was, and they told me her name was Ronnie Moody. And I was lucky enough to meet her that weekend, and we struck up a conversation, and we started communicating by Facebook and instant messaging and whatnot. And anyway, I asked if I could come back and spend some time with her, and so we met up in Newburgh again about a month later because I live in Los Angeles. And we spent an afternoon together talking and kind of bonding over different things in our childhoods. And we come from very different backgrounds, but we found some common ground. And then over the next 6 months, I would go back every now and then, and we would continue speaking, and we would interview with me, and I would write notes down for discussions, and we started talking about, I asked her what she would think about wanting to collaborate on a story about a young woman in Newburgh and some challenges facing life there, and the goals and pursuits of a young woman. And she, I said, let's, would you like to collaborate? And this can be inspired by certain things in your life. And she said she would like to, and that began the next phase of a really incredible journey.
Well, and Lisa, look, I did see the trailer, by the way, and I gotta say, I love how she said it. You said like you were able to put dialogue in such a way that it was done. And then she goes, "Yeah, I like to, take it to the next level, so to speak." She used a word which I thought it was funny. I don't want to say it because some people get very, against it, but she's very real and raw, right?
She's incredibly real. She's incredibly talented. She's got a great talent. And we had a really great collaboration writing the screenplay together. I basically would try and go back every 4 to 6 weeks sometimes for about 18 months, I would say. And I would spend a lot of time there with her, hanging out. We developed a really special friendship. And we spent a ton of time getting to know one another and her family and friends. And I tried to immerse myself in culture that was new to me. It was very interesting to learn about Afro-Caribbean culture and soca music. And there's so many rich islanders. It's such a rich cultural place there in Newburgh, such a special, special community. And I was lucky to be welcomed by the community and get to know and make a lot of friends there. And I have a documentary background. And I think I just have a love of learning and a love of meeting new people and new cultures. And for me, it was really great to be a complete minority in an environment too that's largely African-American and Afro-Caribbean. And I have a daughter of color, and I think that it's really important to understand. And so for me, it was a really special experience to spend time there. And I really treasure my relationships that I built there and my time there.
Well, Lisa, we've run out of time. I apologize. If you could give like a quick, brief synopsis of what you learned from doing this film with her, seeing it from the eyes of her versus yourself.
Well, I think it's a really important time for people to think about who controls what narrative and who tells what stories. And so I wanted to be very mindful of that it wasn't me, just an outsider coming into the community. And I learned a lot through the experience, and I made some mistakes, and I would certainly do things different and over again. But I at the same time, I don't regret a moment of it. And I love my time there and the experience. And I'm really proud. And I know she's proud of what we've created together. I'm sorry she couldn't be here today to join me on this conversation, because that would have been the best scenario. She's a wonderful human and a really talented young lady. And yeah, we hope to rise together with this project and hope to get it made.
Well, Lisa, thank you for spending time with us. For those that want more information, Queen of Newburgh, how can we get this made?
We shall. We're finding the right team right now, and we will do it. So thank you so much for your time and attention, and thank you to La Femme for having us and for picking us as a semifinalist. Good luck to everyone in the competition. We're so excited to be part of it.
All right. Thank you very much. From LA to you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Have a great day, Aaron. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll be right back with Made in Auschwitz. I can't wait for this. This is cool. All right, joining us right now, Made in Auschwitz, Sonia Winterberg. Sonia, this film, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit like, I think I'm gonna cry during this.
Right. Yeah, and that's a little bit, I think, especially for men, it's usually something that they kind of like, they cringe, they hear the title and they're like, and yeah, it's a very emotional film, for sure.
Well, and you have some of the women featured in there, which God bless their soul. Oh my goodness, I don't know, they're very elderly now, but they were recounting some of the things of the very painful moments that they had to experience in real life. And I hate it that some people, especially the younger generation, I feel like they need to see this film, especially with the family, because I've heard it said, "Oh yeah, that didn't even happen. That's fake news." And I go, what did you learn by this experience making Made in Auschwitz?
So I think the biggest learning for us was how important telling these stories is, how these women overcome their fear of speaking to somebody about these most intimate experiences that they made. So I think for us as the younger generation, it was really a steep learning curve in what they endured, things they didn't know at the time, that their survival mode, whatever they kind of like chose how they would come out of this, there's a lot of, there were experiences I think we would call traumatic today. I think those words didn't exist back in the day, they just knew how to keep quiet, and that's what happened to them for almost 70 years, before they started talking to us on camera.
Look, Sonia, obviously putting something like this together, not easy, but you really put everything into this. Can you describe for those that might be on the fence about watching something like this? Because I don't know how graphic but it's real. I mean, people looked at the Steven Spielberg version, which made huge acclaim, but this is. I mean, you have photos, you have video, you have. Is there any warning you give to the viewer?
So I think the warning is that the protagonists, the women, the survivors in our film, they detail what they experienced, and they're a very small group. There are 6 women who we have on camera who survived out of several thousand. There were only a few hundred survivors after the war, but of course by now there's actually only one of the protagonists that we filmed with is still alive. So it's really has come down to a point where these are elderly women talking about an experience they had 70 years ago. So on the one hand, it's something that I feel we haven't lived through it, so we can at least listen to it. Is it graphic? Sometimes it is. It's not in the film graphic. We don't show any sterilization experiments, what the film is about, that happened in Auschwitz, but they talk about it, and we talk about the science background, medical background, we talk about the historic implications, and also who benefited from these experiments, which were 2 major companies, Bayer and Siemens, companies that are around today. So we for sure have a responsibility to tell and listen to these stories.
Well, Sonia, our time is up. I want to go on forever on this. For those that want more information on this fantastic documentary, it was really well done. I can't wait to see it. I'm definitely gonna get in line on that virtually. For those that want more information on your fantastic film, where can they go?
We're now on Amazon, actually. So you can look, if you don't see it during the festival here at La Femme, there's a possibility to both order a DVD that's on Amazon or to stream it online from Amazon. So,
All right. Well,
yeah.
and again, you could do the virtual thing here, which is all live and all in the same. You don't get that with Amazon, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ellen.
Okay, Sonia Winterberg, everybody. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our next film. Very interesting. Touch. What's that about? We'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right, joining us right now, all the way from Touch, it is the film by Alexandra. Alexandra, I am not even going to try your last name. Please help me with it. I don't want to botch it.
Szczepanowska.
Thank you. I will say that. Alexandra, I will say Alexandra S. Alexandra, look, Alexandra, obviously Touch, very interesting project there. For those listening and watching for the very first time, what's it about?
It's about a Caucasian woman living in China with a Chinese husband and a Chinese family, and very much wanting to be part of China, speaking Chinese, fully integrated. She thinks as integrated as she can be, and trying to go deeper, trying to get permanent residency. And she basically falls for a Chinese blind masseur, has an affair, and things start to fall apart around her. She breaks with the affair, and he comes after her. And
which is why it's a romantic thriller, right? I mean, you put the thrill in the romance, and now you go, whoa. Okay, so obviously this project, done pre-coronavirus, so pretty easy, hard, still difficult. This isn't your first project, right?
It's my first feature.
Really? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And welcome to the La Femme Film Festival.
Thank you.
Being your first feature, look, I understand, obviously, there's always a lead up to a feature, but was this a project that you've been wanting to do for quite some time?
Oh, yeah. It took a very, very long time. Well, for me, it's a very long time, about 4 years. From the moment I started writing to the very end.
And obviously, look, the film has already gotten a lot of acclaim. La Femme is not the only one that's featuring it as well. But having gotten some of the awards that you've gotten, I got to ask, do people come up to you and say, thank you? Because some may find this to be a good warning for them to stay away from this type of situation, or they've been in this situation. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what people did after Fatal Attraction, I heard. Men were very afraid afterwards.
Me included. I've met a couple. I'm not going to throw their names out there, okay? But look, obviously it's very well done, and many people oftentimes they see you and they say, "How can I get to be like you?" How did you get to be like you in the world of film?
Oh God, I don't know what that means. I mean, I follow my passions. I follow my heart. Everybody told me not to make this movie. Everybody. It was very, very hard to make it. It's fully in Chinese, so it's a very hard sell. As far as like looking at the market, everybody was telling me if you want to make it, you've got to make it in English. And I said, well, that's not going to be organic to the story. It's not going to work. It's not going to feel good. So I think in the end of the day, you just have to stick to what you want to do. Hope it works. If it doesn't, there are a lot of lessons along the way. And I mean, that's.
I personally love to watch. I don't know about you, but I binge watch a lot of stuff in foreign languages. By the way, as long as it has subtitles. I did learn a little Chinese. I did learn Ni hao, wo jia ya ren, ni jia shi men ming zi. That's it. That's as far as I go. Okay, more than I do Spanish. Look, Alexandra, obviously we've run out of time, but for those that want more information or to follow your great progress, is there another film coming up around the corner for you?
I'm working on another film. But it's for me. It takes maybe a little longer. I'm still in the writing phase of it, so we'll see.
Well, we all got time. Okay,
it's gonna be local. I mean, it has to be local now.
Hey, you know what? Let's do it. I'm sure there's a way to do a virtual version too, right? Pre-COVID, but not COVID. I don't know if at the point that you can't make a film about coronavirus because by that time, hopefully, we'll be over it, right?
Hopefully, and no one will want to go back.
I can't wait. Okay, Alexandra, thank you for spending time with us here on the La Femme Film Festival 2020 edition. We'll be right back with another great film and another great filmmaker. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you.
All right, joining us right now is Meryl Botula. Good morning, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Aaron. Good job with my name. I appreciate that.
I try. Look, butt ball.
Yes.
I got questions on this.
All right.
I don't know that I should ask. I'm going to let you introduce it, okay?
Okay. Well, to hit your question right out of the gate, butt ball is a grade school, elementary school playground game, also known as wall ball or asses up. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh it was butt ball.
No judgment.
Yeah.
Look, butt ball's going to be the new phrase of the day between kids everywhere. I didn't get to experience this, but obviously, look, you put this and you package it up in a very interesting project. Can you speak about what type of project that is?
Sure thing. It's a short film, slice of life tale set in the 80s, following a young tomboy as she navigates being in 5th grade, all the highs and lows, gym class, math class, navigating her first crush. And because it's set in the 80s, the Challenger explosion is part of the short film as well. It's kind of hanging in the backdrop and ends with the Challenger.
Okay, so obviously, look, you already said my favorite decade, 80s. So I could imagine like you did some like to make it look that way, right? Because sometimes there's a cinematic feel that you're going for versus like, new version. But tell me about some of the, maybe one of the challenges that you had that you were able to overcome in putting this project together. Because people hear short film and they think, that's easy. No, it's sometimes more complicated, right?
That's a wonderful question. Nano budget. You think because it's a cast of young children that would be the challenge? No, they were all such a dream. It was making 80s on an absolute nano budget, which meant a lot of trips. I'm based in New York, but it meant a lot of trips back to Pittsburgh to specific thrift stores that I know would have those little pieces that would suggest the 80s as best I could on the nano budget.
Well, you know what? Look, I say good job on the nano budget. Great job for joining the La Femme Film Festival. Thank you for spending your time with us. For those that want to get tickets, you know which day you're on?
No.
Okay, we got to get that information. Okay,
I know. I'm horrible. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to pull it up right now at the La Femme International Film Festival. It's okay. It's cya.live/channel/La Femme. Go there. We put the link everywhere. Thank you so very much for spending time with us, Meryl.
Thank you, Aaron. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye. Okay, We'll be right back with another filmmaker. Ooh, can't wait to introduce you to this person. Be right back. All right, joining us right now all the way from They, Them, Us, Jane Marlowe. Jane, how you? I think you're muted there. Can we unmute you?
There we
go.
Hello from London.
London's in the house. All Jane, we love you already. But They, Them, Us, talk to us about this project.
Well, it kind of was inspired by a conversation that I had with a young friend of mine, and they were talking about their kind of gender confusion, gender exploration. And it sort of suddenly occurred to me that there was a whole kind of culture shift when I came out back in I'm not going to say exactly when, but, the whole dialogue around sexuality and gender and pronouns and all that sort of thing had evolved so much. I just thought that the way this person was talking about their experience, there was a really compelling and kind of passionate story there to be told that was really going to speak to this generation of young people.
Well, Jane, look, obviously you're no stranger to the world of filmmaking, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you have what I call investment years, right? Never throw those investment years away, is what I'm saying. Be proud of it
Right.
because you are a great inspiration to so many other filmmakers that are just trying to get into this world. Obviously, my first and foremost question is, what is your number one advice to any filmmaker, whether they be a seasoned pro and or brand new?
Oh, wow. I think that one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given as a writer, I've been a TV writer for many years, is just to write from your heart. Don't try and kind of fit a mold. Don't try and second guess, because those are the shows that probably won't make it. But if you write from your heart and you write something about something that you're passionate about, which we definitely are at They, Them, Us, then that will show and people will be engaged by it. And don't give up. If people don't like it, or that might be their taste, your doors will be shut on you. But if you're passionate about it, don't give up.
I love that. You know why? Because like everybody, look, I've talked to filmmakers during coronavirus, and some are like, I want my movie seen in the movie theater. And I'm like, that's not going to happen right now anytime soon. So being part of the La Femme Film Festival, how is that a different dynamic for you? Because it's a brand new dynamic for us.
Yeah, no, it's amazing actually, and we're totally thrilled to be involved with it, and especially on the new platform that we've been running a tech rehearsal with the cast and the cast that are going to be coming along for the Q&A after the screening on Friday, and yeah, it's just wonderful that you can reach this global audience, and it's opened. If looking on the positives about this situation, it's opened up a whole new audience. We can be in London and LA, or you could be anywhere around the world and watch this absolutely barnstorming set of films.
I love that you actually saved money and you didn't have to come all the way to the States, and you could still be with us, and that we could be with you. Isn't that cool?
It's quite cool, but I would love to go to LA as well.
Well, you know what?
Next time.
Yeah, next time. Let's
Sure
hope
thing.
for the best and wish for the best. But in the meantime, let's make it an amazing party, right? Because you could do a virtual party. Are you gonna have any drinks like to your side, like a little bit of tequila, a little bit of rum? You know what I'm talking about?
Might be, yeah, there might be. We're going to have quite a few of the cast on stage, so hopefully there's going to be a really fun Q&A session. And I'm sure if those of us who can get together will, I'm sure.
Thank you, Jane, for spending time with us here at the La Femme Film Festival 2020. Jane, can't wait to see your project.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Cheers.
All right, They, Them, Us, go check it out. We're going to switch gears up with a brand new host. Yes, I can't wait to introduce you to everybody. Ariana Sanchez is going to be here with us. Stay tuned for more right here at the La Femme Film Festival 2020, virtually.
How are we here?
Oh, hello. Mary just stepped out for a second. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Hi, Emma. You look amazing.
Yeah. I'm wearing my new Vote shirt.
Oh, nice. Nice. Very timely.
Well, yeah.
Ariana, you were muted actually. So we cannot even hear you, girl.
Talking to you this entire time, trying to introduce you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for calling that out. How are you, ladies? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we're gonna have another third lady or fourth lady here very soon. Are we live already?
We are live. We're here streaming. Welcome to La Femme Film Festival.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Is this the first time you see each other since you did the film together?
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virtually, for sure.
Yeah.
Interviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
so
what
good to see you.
I miss you.
I think you're muted again, Ariana.
You know what? I'm gonna
Makes sense. Come on in.
Hey guys, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Ariana's to my, of course, right. Look, let's talk about this project because you guys are doing some pretty amazing things, and I want to know why people need to watch this.
Well, if I may speak about it, I guess people need to watch it to get inspired, first of all. I won't tell you much about the plot of the film because I want people to watch it and make it their own. But what we strive to do, I think, in this film is to look at us human beings, us women and men, with humanity and with empathy and tenderness. And in this instance, it's a story about a female composer who gets stuck. She loses her inspiration. So we go on this emotional journey with her and trying to see how is she going to grasp her new reality and how far is she going to go to maintain her sense of self when the creative and the romantic part of her is being threatened.
Got it. Okay, so Esther's Choice, obviously happening. We've got all of you here in this. I got to ask, coming away from this project, you seem like better friends after than before. Which is it?
I think we got closer, right?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
I
Going
think we
through
did.
experience of the movie and spending those 3 days together it made us really close because we had to surpass a lot of circumstances.
Yes.
During the shooting.
For sure. For sure.
Ariana, I'll let you end with the last question.
The last question, what advice can you give filmmakers that are working in projects with people that they may or may not know?
Emma, do you have an advice?
Oh, I was waiting for you for that one. You're the filmmaker here. Go, you take that one.
I think you should work with people you worked with before or know of. I think for us, this 3 days of shooting a short film that got into like 23-minute film, having the intimacy and trust that we built before the actual production was crucial. So knowing each other or working, not with your friends, but some people that you trust and love and admire actually helps you on set as well, because it's going to get hectic. So that friendship that friendship like takes you out of with the collar, out of the deep water.
Well, as you guys know, budget constraints and time constraints, we are on a very tight constraint. So for those that want to check out the film, they could do so virtually. You guys can all tune in. You're going to have like a cool Q&A, right?
Yes. October 15th, we're going to have like a real premiere with Q&A, Masha, Emma, October 15th, EST 3 p.m. and noon for everyone out there on the West Coast. And I will have my genius cinematographer with us who, will add a lot to the conversation, I think. So we're waiting for everyone for the Q&A.
We can't wait. I know, Ariana, you and I are going to be like, right? We're going to be on this.
We got to do this.
All right. Thank you very much. More from La Femme 2020 coming up around the corner. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Serena, hi. Thank you so much for
Hello.
joining us.
Thank you very much for having me and having us and all of us. It's going to be a long day for you, but thank you very much.
No, we're happy to be here. So excited. Is that the flyer to your film behind you?
Ta-da! Yeah.
Twice Born. Oh my.
Yes.
So tell us, what is the takeaway that you want the audience to have from your film?
Sure. I mean, we made this film about the gray man. I mean, it's the men's story. So many people might wonder why men's story, but we created this film in this, I mean, especially in this chaotic time, we think it's very important to have it's good time to reflect back our mind and think about what's really important to each one of us. So everybody wants to accomplish something in our own life, right?
Right.
So, and we believe it's important to have that conviction, faith, belief, especially this time. So, and also we believe if we change our mind, the world around us will change, and we should not forget it. So,
right, that's so true and powerful, because the mind really does have so much power into the way you do things in life.
That's right.
That is so beautiful. What inspired you to create this film?
I mean, we wanted to create this story because the man right here. I mean, the Twice Born is almost 90% based on the true story of the Japanese man who is still alive today, and he has received spiritual messages from heaven and Nichiren, the Buddhist monk, and other very famous spirits such as like Jesus Christ and Buddha, if you believe or not. But when he was, he explored about that, but he kept receiving these spiritual messages from heaven, but he thought it's not that special thing, and he wasn't sure if he was special enough to follow that spiritual path. So he kept working at the regular company as a finance trader, but and he had promised life, and he also had his loved one, but he decided to abandon everything, including his career, girlfriend, and his family, and decided to follow his mission to teach the truth about the spiritual world.
Right.
And so actually this is very slow, and it's foreign film, it's Japanese film, so I don't know.
You just gotta get past the subtitles, right? Like how are we gonna learn if we stay in our box of what we know? We have to expand our horizons. I think it's absolutely beautiful that he's sharing this story, and if it's a calling that he keeps on receiving and now you're putting it out into the world, that's absolutely beautiful. So is that a message that you have to recommend with people to follow the messages that life is giving you, even though there's fear involved, or?
Sure.
Or what can you say?
Yeah, I mean, there are way too many dark films in the world. So we believe our mission is bringing the happiness and pure-hearted films to the world. And, and everybody who are involved in this film was told the truth and tried to be honest to their souls. And there is no single fakeness in it. So I hope everybody is going to feel that pureness of the film and the main character.
Oh, I think it is absolutely beautiful. I love that you're putting this out there and you're making it. Thank you so much for joining us here with the film festival. Congratulations for being selected. And we have to keep moving. Are there any last words of something that you would just like to share? Maybe something that stands out during the filming of the film?
Sure. I mean, we created this film to hope that everybody can find your own mission and what's really important to yourself. And it's a very slow film, but I hope you all gonna enjoy the artness of the film, and I hope to see you soon at the festival. And thank you very much for having us, LFM, and also you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are you joining us from, by the way?
I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, we are all from Japan. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
I'm so excited for Twice Born. Check it out. Based 95% on a true story. So, Serena, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
You know, in the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money. That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Because what you're seeing on television right now is history in terms of where decisions are being made today.
Don't give yourself a bad review before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
What are recommendations for packaging?
Getting to the right person at the right time, and you have the right piece of the package that they want to see.
And be able to adjust, because the plan will never execute exactly as you plan it.
If you set aside money for social media, for a publicist, for marketing, things like that, and really you don't have to sit behind those dollars, and you can have more control of your own release.
You can't go wrong. As for me, I knew that my episode was either going to be awesome or fine. That's the risk you take.
Welcome back. We're here at La Femme Film Festival virtually, and with us now is Melania Cresson. Melania, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you created Titus and Mirabella. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, Titus and Mirabella. Yeah, that's right.
Tell us a little bit about your film. What is it that inspired the creation of it?
Yeah, well, it's been more than one thing. First of all, I'm an actress and I really wanted to play in a comedy. And nobody offered me a part in a comedy, so I just thought, oh, I'm gonna write one myself.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Did.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And then the second thing, I would say the city, because I was living in Germany at the time, in a wonderful city, and it just inspired me to write this romantic comedy.
Nice. I do hear that a lot, that, you know, if you're not getting offered the roles that you want to play, you should go out there and write them. So kudos for you for doing it. And it's in a film festival. Like, how amazing.
And it was actually also Judi Dench inspired me to do that, because I'm in love with the sitcoms that she played in. And I really, really wanted to play in a comedy like that. And yeah, so she's my hero.
Did you find yourself laughing and enjoying more when you were performing than when you were writing it? Or what is a connection or difference that you noticed?
You mean laughing? While I would say while doing it.
Yeah.
We laughed more, because I had my acting partner there, and we also had 1 week of rehearsal, which helped a lot because we also improvised a lot, and it was a lot of fun to act with him. So definitely acting and rehearsing. Actually, rehearsing, I would say, was the most fun part for me, because as a director, you're super stressed on set. And maybe you don't get to enjoy the acting bit as much as if you're just an actor.
Sure. So you're sitting there creating, right? So having written and been in it and directed it, what do you recommend for actors out there that have not landed a role that they like and have received the same advice but haven't followed through for it? What is something you can tell them?
it's very hard to give somebody else advice because everybody is in a different stage in their life, in their career, and but I would say just if you want something specific, you either have to kind of attract it, attract the role, which means, for example, if you're interested in dancing, then start going to classes and do more dance, or if you're interested in history, you can read a lot. And it's funny because sometimes things do show up, things that interest you do show up. Or you can write yourself a show or a film or something together with your friends, with your mates, with your colleagues.
Right.
So I think, yeah.
So kind of take a step to see where you are in life and pursue from there.
Yeah, I think, for example, I had a period where I was really, really interested in dance and in modern dance. And a part showed up for me, an offer in a short film where I had to play a dancer. So sometimes you kind of attract things in your life
what you're
if
doing.
you believe in them.
Yeah. Now, are you going to have a screening party for your film? Because I mean, I know that right now there's all of this. You are. When is it?
On October 17th in LA. And in Europe, it's going to be on the 18th because of the time difference.
Okay. So is it going to be the same day in Europe, but just at a different time?
No, it's going to be a different day because in LA, it's at 8 p.m. in the evening. And here in Europe, it depends where you are, but I'm in Romania right now. And in Romania, it's going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in London, for example, it's going to be at 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So it depends.
Yeah. And will you be having a Q&A at your film screening?
Yes. My acting partner, so the other main actor, will join us as well. So we're looking forward to that. I'm very excited.
That's very exciting. So October 17th, Titus and Marabella are screening in Los Angeles at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Everybody, make sure you go check out her film. And Melania, thank you.
Thank you for having us all. Thanks very much. And
of course.
Have fun. Watch our film.
We will. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Margarita, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at Femme Film Festival Virtual Edition. Congratulations on...
I think Norm Fassbender's probably in the waiting room. He's my co-writer.
Okay. Let's see if our virtual... there we go.
There you are.
Welcome.
Hello.
So you two co-wrote this story together.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. We're in 2 different countries.
What? Where are you each located?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles and
I'm in Canada in Edmonton, Alberta.
Nice. So how did you two meet to write this project together?
We're actually face-to-face meeting right now.
Yeah, it's the first time we've ever actually seen each other.
But we've been working together for it's been over a year now, right?
Yes.
Since Jaron Summers introduced us?
Yeah, Jaron's a Los Angeles-based screenwriter. He's originally from Edmonton, and he put Margarita and I together.
Yeah,
that is awesome. So how did that? How did the idea for Maria in America come up, and how did you go about writing that together?
Maria in America, MIA, Maria in America, is it's about a disabled Marine veteran who comes back from the war, and she basically has to figure out how to live in the civilian world. And so the idea actually came about between Norm and I. We really wanted to feature a Latino family, first of all, but also include all of the different things that are happening right now. Because, we're just constantly being bombarded with a lot of images. And so and Norm, please add to this, but we sort of wanted to show like the flip side of those sort of negative images that were being put out there.
Yeah, and our script is half live action and half animation. I work at a small animation company, and so between Margarita's experience with Marines, in that there's so many in her family, including her brothers, and I'll let Margarita talk about that. But the idea is when Maria, our character, comes in contact with things that she can't quite handle, she flips into an alternative world, which is animated, and it's based on her father's favorite story, her father's favorite cartoon, and so it enables us to deal with very serious subject matter, but and include a little bit of comedy, a little bit of dark comedy, a little bit of adventure. It's where she goes to survive.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to flip in from reality to like subconscious thoughts and everything that's going on.
Yeah, and it's tough because Margarita's brothers. Maybe you could talk about your brother Margarita, and because it's really tough subject matter. Period. But for Margarita, even more so.
Yeah. So it's inspired by my youngest brother, who we lost to suicide in 2014.
I'm so sorry.
So a lot of the experiences are inspired by things that he went through, and things that I also experienced with him as a caregiver for a short time. But I think a lot of the different experiences are also universal. On top of, living through post-traumatic stress, it's just everyday struggles of life. And so, so all of that together, it just sort of, it's just this, there's just these rich stories there. And they are inspired by my baby brother, who's no longer with us. But I think that the potential to be able to show this to so many others so that they can try to maybe start to understand what happens to our veterans. I mean, we still have 22 veterans a day taking their lives, even more so right now during COVID-19. And so mental health resources and, stories like this can hopefully propel the conversation forward and create a change.
Sure. Yes, of course. I think it is so important. There's so many topics in life that people don't talk about because they fear the uncomfort that it comes with. And it is so important to raise awareness to these subjects and bring about them, and how beautiful to use art and whatever you have to get creative to actually reach out to lives, because you never know that sharing your story can actually help somebody who's going through that same struggle. So I am so grateful that you guys have taken, this experience in life and created something so beautiful that's going to help in life for others. Yeah. Are you going to have a screening party to show your film, and when? And
well, we hope to. I mean, we would love to be able to see. It's a TV series, so this is the pilot, but we would love to see it like on Netflix or Amazon or one of the sites. I think
these are the type of stories we need.
Yeah, and I mean that's the knock on wood, right? But that's where we hope to take it.
Yeah.
You want to add something else?
Yeah, and it's a very real story. We're dealing with real people in a real community, and it's about Maria protecting her community and her family. But we also have an oddball Canadian. I have a lot of family in the United States, and so with the Canadian coming down and moving into the building and into a Latino neighborhood, knowing nothing. He gets to ask awkward questions and stupid questions and to bring out the narrative and being, if you will, the fall guy. So it is a tough story, but we want to keep it on the lighter side of things. But also we'll make fun of foreigners like those Canadians, and it'll allow you know, the characters to talk about issues that they wouldn't normally talk about because they sort of know them, but the dumb Canadian, of course, wouldn't
bring it up. So that's the way you strategize. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this film. I mean, unfortunately, we weren't able to pre-screen them, but like watch them ourselves hosting, not all of them, but it just sounds like so inspiring. What is something that you two can give as an advice to other people that are writing or filmmakers creating?
Oh,
I mean,
you
have so much.
My advice to filmmakers or other creatives who are thinking about writing stories: just write. You gotta do it. You gotta put those thoughts on paper or in your computer, but put it down, because once it gets from here to there, then you're only gonna go forward from there. When you can find someone to help you adapt it to script. I mean, there's so many people right now who are working from home who would love to be able to do, to help out filmmakers to be able to adapt their scripts as well. So I think that's something that with COVID, it's become more easily accessible to be able to not just work from other countries like Norm and I are able to do, but also just connect with others. And I think that you got to write it, just write it, and then start searching for resources. But you can always message me as well. I'm happy to share resources with people. Norm, do you want to add something?
Well, yeah, I would say, there's nothing about film and television that's easy. But I would say embrace your crazy, own it. And I don't know anybody in the arts who isn't a little nuts. Who doesn't have some weird background. So put that down. That's what people want. I love comedians. I love comedians, and the greatest ones tell their own story. I listen to Mark Maron interview comedians, and I love it. I love hearing their backgrounds. And then when you get to see some of those comedians live, you go, oh, I have a story too. So I would just say, embrace your crazy, tell your own story. Get involved with crazy people like Margarita.
Awesome. You two have been absolutely wonderful, inspiring. Thank you so much for giving us moments of your day to talk about Maria in America and raise awareness to such a beautiful, struggle of life and way to overcome it. We really appreciate you. Congratulations on getting selected on this year's La Femme Film Festival. Norm, Margarita, blessings to you both.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Willa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Welcome to La Femme. So
Thank
first of all,
you.
before we get started, I want to tell you that this film was so beautifully shot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and so please tell us all about it.
Sure, I will. So I can't take all the credit for how the beautiful cinematography looks. And cameraman Matthew Ziegler, who definitely took the lead with all the the beautiful polish of the visuals. But Starting at Zero looks at the issue of early childhood education and why it's so important for our country to take seriously and invest in for the future, for our future success, both for individuals but also for society as a whole. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like we put so much emphasis in like getting our kids to college and pushing that, but we forget a lot about the formative years. So what would you say about that?
Absolutely. I mean, the early years is where it all begins, and laying that, strong foundation really from birth or even, before birth, really just has such huge, pays such huge dividends down, in the future. There's a lot of research on, for every dollar invested in the first 5 years of life, the return on it is, sevenfold, tenfold. It's debated what the exact number is, but there's a lot of really compelling research that shows that if you lay this high quality foundation in the early years, then there's just so much better outcomes. You're not spending money later in life, whether it's spending money in the prison system or in special needs classes in high school. So it's just a really, but we don't, as a society, pay enough attention to these early years. As you said, there's so much focus on getting into prestigious colleges.
Right. And then we forget that during those formative years, I mean, you can create really great human beings that will obviously stay out of the prison system and just flourish. So what made you bring light into this issue?
Well, my client, the Saul Zaentz Charitable Foundation, was the real, starting visionary behind this project. And their biggest goal, their 30,000 foot vision is to put a dent in poverty. And they did a lot of research about what the most effective vehicle for this, where they should invest their money. And they determined, through their research that early childhood education is a pretty compelling place to invest if you really want to have that kind of big picture impact in terms of alleviating poverty, at scale. Just people's life outcomes are just, so much better. And actually, there's a big study by National Academy of Sciences that just came out, just kind of saying, yes, if you, give children high quality education early in life, they will have better outcomes.
It seems like it's such an obvious thing, but still we're not doing it. So how long did it take you to prepare for this film?
We had it in production. We actually never set out to make a feature-length film. We were interested in Alabama's early childhood pre-K program. They have had the #1 nationally ranked program for over 10 years, and we were interested in how they accomplished that. So about 3 years ago, we set out to just create a simple how-to video about how they accomplished that. But then once we started interviewing, we just realized that there was so much more to that story, and we really wanted to, just tell a much broader story and look kind of early childhood education and how we can begin to improve the system.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for bringing light to this issue. And please tell us what's next for you.
Well, we're working on different things. There's been a tremendous amount of interest, grassroots interest in this film across the country, which has been really gratifying, and I think just speaks to the need for this. So we're going to continue to create content, around this issue. And personally, I'm beginning a interview project with just various thought leaders in issues like this that really have the potential to move us forward. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Willa, for having us, and for us having you. And where can we find you?
So our website is startingatzerofilm.com, just www.startingatzerofilm.com, and there's links to our Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram accounts, and we're just going to keep adding content and, host screenings around the country. So, if anyone has interest, we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Willa.
Thank you so much.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, Martha, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Please tell us about Love Big.
So, well, I just wanted to thank everyone at La Femme for having my screenplay in the semifinals. That was really exciting. And Love Big is about it's a Gen Xer rom-com with a touch of raunch. That's the gist of it. Because, you know, women in their 50s are sexual and confident too.
Yes, exactly.
So it's the story of Gina, who is a career-driven fashion executive who has not found that elusive love. And Joe, he's a charming but grieving music teacher and father who's trying to get back out there after the death of his wife. And they meet for the first time on New Year's Eve, and boom, they're struck by Colpo di Fulmini, the thunderbolt. So that night, in typical fashion of them growing up in the 80s, they slept together that night immediately. But
whoa.
Joe doesn't make, you know, the afterfuck phone call, basically.
Right.
Happen. You know, he doesn't make it because he's still grieving the death of his wife. So Gina's crushed, but you know, she's at this point in her life where she's just about to turn 55 and she's like, you know, I want to be in a relationship. I've done the career thing, I've done the money thing, I've got a great life, but I don't have that love. So she's like, you know, Joe, I can't wait to see when you're going to be ready to do this, you know, because, you know, who knows when somebody's grieving, you don't know when they're going to be ready. So they become friends. So Gina and Joe actually become friends. So the film is kind of a cross between, you know, When Harry Meets Sally meets Trainwreck.
Yeah.
Because Gina now goes on this mad dash mission to find love and the internet. And so she starts going and having all these different dates. You know, it includes a Calvin Klein underwear model. There's edibles, there's a dick pic, and then there's this thing that her and her girlfriends call the Pussy Protection Pack. And
oh my gosh, what is that?
a little pack she does with her friends to make sure she's safe when she goes on dates. And in the meantime, Joe, he's just, you know, even though they're friends and they're hanging out together at the gym and stuff, he's still stuck in his grief. And so he turns to his music and he turns to volunteering at the senior center. And then he's a good dad to his 20-year-old daughter. And then I don't know if I want to give you the end of the film. But
No. It sounds so exciting.
But it is typical cookie cutter. It is typical, you know, rom-com fashion where you go and, you know, it is the formulatic, you know, you boy meets girl, boy and girl have.
I feel like we need more rom-coms in our life.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds super funny. And of course, I mean, I can't wait to see what happens, especially with him. So, I mean, can you give a little bit?
Well, you know, it is a rom-com. So yeah. And I'm a little hopeless romantic over here. So, of course, they are getting together at the end.
Okay.
So how that exactly happens, I don't want to totally give it away, but they do get together at the end. And my little motto of the film is, you know, we all deserve a happy ending in more ways.
Yes.
Than one.
Oh, yes, we do. So tell me, can we see any screenings? Is there anything coming up? Any questions and answers?
The film right now is only in script form. So I am in like pre-production stages at this point. I am, you know, looking, I'm going to be starting to look for producer, director, and financiers, you know, to get the film off the ground. You know, my goal is to make it, you know, to make the film and shoot it in 2021. You know, with COVID and stuff, it kind of put a little damper on things and trying to figure out how, you know, how to do a production, you know, and this is going to be my first full-length feature that I'm doing. So this is something that, you know, I'm learning how to do right now, and I'm gathering the team and finding the people who are going to help me make this into, you know, the film that I want to make.
Well, Lydia, thank you so much for being with us. I can't wait to watch your film. I know it's going to be a film. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so close to my face.
Boom. Hi, Madison.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to La Femme. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm suffering from a bang situation right now. I cut them in quarantine.
Uh-oh. They look good, though.
Thank
You did a good job. It doesn't look like you cut them wet, so that's
I feel like I have a curtain on the top of my head.
No, it looks good. It looks really good. So tell me, tell me about Flesh Lou.
Yeah, so it started out actually because my closest childhood friend lost her father when I just moved out here. And I'm Serbian. I come from a Serbian family. So he was this true cigarette smoking, Slivo drinking Serbian man with the best sense of humor. So as we were mourning, everyone kept laughing. And I just kept thinking, like, no one's allowed to laugh this much when someone dies.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, but that was sort of the premise of the film, just an exploration between how far I could push the boundaries between laughter and grief. My own mother acted alongside me.
Which one was your mom?
The gray-haired lady. Jean.
Short hair? No, a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, so the mother. And so it's about 3 women mourning the loss of their beloved Lou when he's accidentally cremated. And yeah, it's just supposed to show how bizarrely people can act when, you know, they're struggling to communicate with one another.
So I saw that you've put a lot of focus on the Ackerley women. Is there a reason why?
I have 3 older sisters. I have a lot of women in my life. I have a ton of women in my life, actually, sometimes more than I want. And so for me, it holds so true to me. And so I think in writing my next projects, you'll be seeing a lot of family dynamics, family dramas, lots of women. I come from a family business, so it's what I know.
Nice. So what made you write about this specific issue? Well, not issue, but this topic.
Yeah, I love to laugh, and I think that it just gets me through so much. You know, when something embarrassing happens or something sad happens, it's just the one thing that saves me is my sense of humor. And so for me, that just resonated, and it just felt like any way to kind of show my dark comedy, my morbid sense of humor. It was very easy to write. My mom and I act this way. That's why I couldn't have anyone else do it but us, because
well, your mom's pretty amazing for her to actually be in the film with you.
Oh, it was the hardest part.
That's amazing.
Like, Mom, stop acting. I didn't hire you to be in this to act. I wanted you to just be yourself. And she did such a good job.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, where can we find you? And can we find any screenings coming up?
Yeah, so right now I just finished. So it's still just screening, still kind of private right now. So all of that will be to come, but it's still very new. So I wish I had something to say right now, but I'm so happy and feel so blessed to be a part of this.
Well, thank you for being a part. And then is there anywhere we can find you?
Yeah,
Instagram,
so
Facebook.
Madison Stewart Leonard. And yeah, I'm excited to just officially launch it out and have people be able to watch it. I think I'm on October 14th, which I saw on the website, which I kind of have to check.
Awesome.
But yeah, so more from me later, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Madison. We look forward to watching your film.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Talita. How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
Well, it's finally nice to meet you.
It's Talita, by the way.
Oh, Talita. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. So please tell us about Tempest Desert.
Tempest Desert. Well, it's about this artist that comes to LA to pursue her dreams. And it goes a little bit, different from what she expected. And then she ends up suffering from depression, disconnecting from her mom and not really, connecting with the people around here. And yeah, so like for me as an immigrant in LA, I wanted to talk about subjects that I encountered with and that I had struggled with. And even though it's not it's not based on a true event, that's not really my life. It's based on true feelings that I had. And I don't think it's exclusive to immigrants. I think, it's
Yeah, I think it's pretty close.
general. Yeah.
So in this film, you wear many hats. You're a writer, producer, director, actress.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that was crazy. I also did a little bit of editing. I did the titles, and then on the titles, that's my own name. I'm like, yes, it's like that's
everything.
When you're doing so many things, you ended up getting overwhelmed. Well, okay, so the process of doing this film for me, like I've been an actress for over 10 years. I always wanted to do film, but I never thought I was prepared for it. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I was like, yeah, well, I have to be really ready for it. And then I had reading scripts. They were all in my shelf. And for feature films, I'm like, well, I need to do something smaller. I need to do a short film first to prove that I can do this so I can, focus in feature films. And then, again, never thought I was ready. I had an accident a few years ago. And I couldn't walk for over a month. I became a couch potato, and I was like, well, I'm just going to focus in, writing now so I can do my short film finally. And then I did my first script, showed to a friend of mine that is a producer. And then he was like, Talita, this is such a high budget. Like, no, you have to do something a little bit more simple. And then okay. And then I wrote another film that's Stanford Desert. And I'm like, okay, here it is. And he's like, that's too high budget. And then I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this film because I'm tired of getting notes from, the industry, I'm going to control what I can, which is make, create.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it, even though I don't really know how to produce. And then I just took over it, and then it's been a life-changing experience. I ended up going to work in a post-production house for, a long time, so I could learn everything about post-production. And it's been a very, very huge learning experience and very gratifying.
That's so admirable. I mean, you could have just laid on your couch, taken a huge break, but instead you wrote a full-on script. Two.
Yeah.
So is there anywhere where we can find a screening to your film?
Yeah, well, not the screening yet, but the movie is going to be in La Femme on the 16th at 8 p.m.
Perfect. And where can we find you on social media?
Talita Maya. That's it. Talita Maia, which, by the way, I changed my last name to my dad's middle name because no one could say my real last name, which is Gonçalves with a C in the tail. And then I realized that the Maya also no one knows how to say it because it's spelled differently.
That same way.
I'm like, wow, Talita, that was a great move. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate your time, and we look forward to watching the film with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Welcome to La Femme. It's a pleasure having you. So please, I want you to talk about Breaking the Silence because I think it's such a wonderful film. Very heart-wrenching too. So please tell us about it.
Okay, well, my name is Laura Coronado. I'm the producer of the documentary film Breaking the Silence that is directed by Priscila Padilla. And this is a story about two women, Luz and Claudia. They are part of the Embera Chamí indigenous community in Colombia. And what they have in common is that they have been practiced the female genital mutilation at birth. So they have, they live this condition in a different way. For example, Luz, she feels very sad about this, but Claudia, she tried to struggle and she tried to convince and to talk with the other indigenous woman of the community to try to change this practice, because we found out in the research that this practice have been made for many years. They think that maybe this practice came to Colombia when the Spanish came to this territory, and they just take this practice from the African people, from the African slaves, and this is not their part of their own practices. Just they adapt this practice.
Yeah,
And
I had no idea this was still happening. It's so. First of all, how were you able to actually get into talk with these women, because it's such a patriarchal society? So how were they able to actually open up?
Well, it was very difficult because we have to first start to talk with the men. And here in Colombia, for example, all the indigenous community, that they have their own law. So they are the one who who said if we can do or we cannot do this documentary. So it was very hard at the beginning, but then we start to talk with all the women involved in the leadership of the community, and they help us to get into this community and to start to talk about this practice without fear, because it's very difficult to these women to talk about this, because they feel fear to be rejected by their men, for example, or because the law now, when this research came out that they're still practicing this, the government said that they cannot, that they will punish them if they continue doing this. So they feel fear because of this, But we try to make a different work with them. We try, we help them with this, with different practices and different projects, and we start a talk about this without judgment. We try to be very, just try to hear them.
That's fantastic.
Yes, not to judge them,
Exactly. Now, Laura, where can we find your screening, or do you have any Q&As coming up?
Well, at this moment, we will be at La Femme.
So make sure you get your tickets, everyone.
Yes, please. And we're still now in festivals, in different festivals around the world, and maybe next year we start theatrical events in different countries. We have to just wait. Yeah. But you can find Priscila Padilla, who is the director of the film, in Facebook. You just Google it, or Priscila Padilla, and you can contact us, because we are working on our website right now, so we do not have a website at this moment.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for joining us, and we can't wait to watch the film.
Okay, thank you, Marta,
we'll
for
see
the
you soon.
invitation. Okay,
thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
You guys are doing such an awesome job. I just want to tell you, and I have been so moved and impressed by all of the women I've heard so far. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely amazing. And it's wonderful because we're able to still get together even though COVID is happening. But thank you so much for joining us, Susan. Suzanne, not
Thank
Susan.
You. Thank you.
Suzanne, and please tell us about Electric Blue.
Electric Blue is based on a true story inspired by the sudden and unexpected death of my mother in 1986, with whom I was very, very close. She had a catastrophic brain aneurysm and was left on life support. I went to the hospital, as did my family, And it was clear that there was no hope of any kind of cognitive recovery, and she was all about her cognitive self in many ways. So we decided to pull the plug, so to speak. But I asked the doctor in the eye, may I please be there for that process? And he assured me that that would be fine. And when I came back from a quick outing with my family, she had died. And between the rage that I felt, the grief that I felt, I now know that my consciousness moved to a different part of my brain. And that night in the hotel, I saw her light. And having come from a very intellectual, academic, science-oriented background, that vision of her light changed the course of my life forever. So it's been a story long in the making, and I was inspired to begin the process of turning it into a screenplay in 2013, and was blessed to have Ron Osborne at the Film Connection in LA tutor me through that process. He did Meet Joe Black, and I recently did a rewrite with another great writer, Carol A. Parker, and that's how it started, and here we go.
So do you think in some way maybe your mom was somehow talking to you to inspire you to make this film?
I would not say to inspire me to make a film. I would certainly say that she came to say goodbye. She came to show me that there is an aspect of ourselves that survives bodily death. And when I knew that, and I now know that, I've spent the rest of my life since then developing that, because clearly, sorry, I sort of want to be on the screen, developing that latent part of the self that I would now call the spirit and the soul. And if it's there during our lifetime and becomes apparent upon death, then what else can I do to develop that in life? And that's really what my life is about.
Absolutely. And Suzanne, where can we find you on social media?
Well, I'd like to make a shameless plug, if I may, for a couple of other projects.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So
Yes.
I've been working for about 3.5 years on a fabulous, magnificent documentary film called Evolution, The Genius Equation. And you can find that film, which is going to be released in late November, at wegeniusminds.com. And that is a film that's dedicated to exploring the nature of genius and the mind. You can find me right now just on Facebook. And I also am working with Ron Noble, an Emmy Award-winning animator, on a short animated film based on my novel, The Life and Time of Schrodinger's Cat. And that's coming along beautifully, so you can look for that as well.
Well, it sounds like you're staying busy, so good for you, especially during these times.
Thank
you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
We look forward to keeping in touch with you and watching all your products.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties over here. How are you, Sarah? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just trying to figure out how to get this thing to work a little bit better. Can you tell us a little bit about your film? And we're so excited to have you here for La Femme Film Festival. We're so excited about screening your short as it comes up this next week. Tell us a little bit about your film and what we should be seeing.
Yeah, so Lingering is about the story between two sisters who have always kind of butted heads their whole lives. And the dynamic has kind of flipped. And so they kind of realize that they have more in common than they thought they did. And especially when their mom comes in and reveals something that kind of shakes everything up. So it's really a story about family and young women and all that stuff.
And where did you draw your influences from?
Yeah, so when I graduated from college, my mom had a health scare, and so that kind of rocked our family in a way, and really forced us all to kind of get out of our own heads and support each other and come together. So that moment was definitely, and the feelings I was experiencing at that time definitely inspired this.
And as a filmmaker, are there things within your life that you look to draw from, family, etc., but with your relationships that are really present in this film, since it is about sisterhood and it sounds like it was drawn upon your own life, right?
Yes, it's very heavily influenced by my life and my experiences with my mom and my sister. But I think in terms of things that inspire me, just everyone in my life who like, especially the women in my life who are forces of nature and who, have emotions and feelings, and we're all, fully developed people. And I think that is something that has always kind of drawn me to tell those stories, and bring things that wouldn't normally be at the forefront of the screen to the screen.
Is this your first film, Sarah?
It's my first film in a long time. Since film school, yeah.
Where can people find more about your films, your filmmaking, and about this specific submission?
Yeah, so you can find Lingering on Instagram at Lingering Short Film, and then I'm on Instagram at SJSOMME.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Sarah. Good luck next week. We can't wait to watch Lingering, and I will see you at the festival.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, La Femme.
That's right. Joining me right now is the team behind In the Moon's Shadow. Look, I've got everybody with us. Elisa Pissell, Alvin Case, and Deborah Cook. Guys, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing fantastic. But let's talk about this. Let's jump into this. In the Moon's Shadow, very interesting. Who was the brains behind this project?
Well, Alvin Case, our director, initially had this project being produced by another company. I had talked to him about ideas for it. This is my third project with Alvin, about 6 months before we got the script from Alvin's brother. But eventually, the production lost the funding, and that's when Alyssa and I stepped forward and said, "We're going to take this over, and we're going to make this happen."
Alvin, I can imagine you were kind of like, well, I don't know. What were you feeling in that moment?
It was always a woman's story, and I felt strongly that it should have that kind of leadership, initially with Deborah, because I've worked with her before. And I had no doubt that we would get something together to really convey the story and these characters. That's pretty much where it started, and Deborah kind of put the fire under my butt to put it together technically.
Sometimes you need that fire lit under the butt, right? I mean, look, you guys are all no stranger to the world of film. Fires are necessary to get stuff moving, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
And we all have a lot of fire. Put Deborah and I together on something and you got a bonfire going.
Well, Elvin had gotten in touch with me on my birthday in May and said, happy birthday. And by the way, the production, we're not going to do it. The funding fell through. And I was like, so here we were in May, and the total eclipse of the sun is August 17th. So we had very little time. We had to have that fire to get us to pull this together in time to because of the hard deadline of the total eclipse.
Well, look, for those tuning in, they can get their tickets at the La Femme Film Festival. Our partners over at CL Live. What's that like being like in a film festival virtual? Is this your first time ever?
Virtually, yeah.
Yes.
I've been to a couple of festivals, and it's pretty cool to do it this way because you kind of in the comfort of your own home, and you get to experience it this way.
Yeah, everybody can see it from around the world. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love that part. I don't have to go very far, right? And not look, all three of you, I want to say thank you. I know we're running up against time, but if you could give one little statement as to why somebody should go check this particular project, what is it? I'll start with you, Deborah.
I would say that because we took the gamble of shooting scenes in real time during a total eclipse of the sun, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and what we ended up with was something beautiful and powerful, and we'd like to share that.
Fantastic. You, Alvin?
I would say that it is really demonstrates what you can do with modern technology and some tenacity to make a feature film without having to go through too many hoops and not much money.
And Elisa?
I would say how a film right now is connecting two sisters to nature, and how right now getting back to nature and connecting through that. It's something like how we're going through now with COVID. Everybody is so much right now connecting to nature in that sense, and family.
Well, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I know there's going to be a Q&A as well, so let's watch it live and let's enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you very much for joining me here at the La Femme Film Festival 2020.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to La Femme Film Festival. Lily, thank you so much for being with us today. My name's Adrusha. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, Adrusha. Thank you so much for hosting me today. How are you doing?
Of course. And you are presenting 86 and Melrose Avenue next week, and it is a feature about a hostage taken by an ex-Marine who's suffering PTSD. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, 86 Melrose Avenue.
Tell me, what inspired this kind of thriller nuance to your filmmaking? Are you a thriller fan? Is this the type of film you usually like to make, or is it based off of any of your past experiences?
Well, no, actually, I'm more into drama and comedy, but I think the component of it is due to what's happening in today's world, where we are becoming very desensitized, and also there's a rise of, people who are having hard time accepting different people. We are having today, a rise of nationalism everywhere, all over the world, where anybody that stands out being different, whether by color, religion, political viewpoint, is somebody we're scared of or somebody we do not take in. So there's this rise of nationalism. On top of that, there is also the fact that we're becoming a very disconnected society. The more high tech we become, in a lot of ways, we're becoming more backward in our way of communicating with one another. And the component, of course, of gun violence, which is very prevalent today, not only in the world, but mainly in the United States. So I wanted to bring a group of people who are from different cultural, social background, and show how we are very disconnected, how we all perceive one another in different ways, and that how our past shape how we deal with today's experiences or with any given situation today. And to show a very fragile society that is really fragmented.
And tackling the issue of PTSD, did that have, is that something that you feel along with these other issues right now is a relevant topic that you wanted to bring to light, or was it a personal experience?
A little bit of both. I grew up during the war in Lebanon. That lasted over 17 years. So it was very prolonged PTSD, so to speak, for 17 years. And I also, for me, PTSD is not only war. It can be, a hostage situation, it can be a car accident, it can be a very bad breakup, it can be any kind of violence. And it's something that stays with you and that defines, in a lot of ways, the way you react to any given situation of high intensity. And, one of the items I wanted to tackle also is our veterans who are victim of a system that has used them and disposed of them. Meaning they have served overseas, they come here with wounds that are not visible to the eye because it's internal wounds, and yet nobody really addresses those issues. Post-traumatic stress disorder is huge, and most of the cases with gun violence have shown that PTSD has played a huge role into it.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate you for tackling such a subject that is so relevant to so many out there. Is there a place where people can find other films that you've worked on? Is this your first submission?
No, actually, that's my second feature film. I did a first feature called Life Gets in the Way, which was a dramedy. And this is, we have been blessed. This is our 9th festival nomination for 86 Melrose Avenue.
Congratulations! That's amazing.
And we're very happy to have been nominated and included at La Femme Film Festival. That's amazing for us, and we can't wait to be part of the festival.
This is definitely one that we will all want to check out. We appreciate your time today, Lily. Is there a website or is there social where people can find you besides checking in next week and watching you at La Femme?
We are on Instagram, 86 Melrose Avenue the film. On Instagram, we are on Facebook as well, 86 Melrose Avenue. And we'll definitely be present with the cast virtually next week with you at the Femme Film Festival.
So check Lily out on social, everyone, and check the links below to make sure you get your tickets for the La Femme Film Festival next week so you can watch 86 Melrose. Lily, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time, and we can't wait to see your film next week.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Adrisha, for hosting me today, and we're very excited, the cast, the crew, and myself, to be part of this amazing film festival. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Alexandra.
Hi, Adrushya. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I like the way you say my name better than the way that I say my name. You say it from here out.
Okay, good. I'll do it. I'll roll it off my tongue.
Tell us, you have a documentary feature next week that is going to be showing at La Femme. It is called The Lore of the Land. Tell us a little bit about The Lore of the Land and what we should be expecting to see next week.
The Lure of This Land. It's a feature-length documentary, which is shot in Belize. It's the story of wanderers and explorers, why people leave, what they're looking for, and what they find, which was really the impetus for making this story. I'm always interested in voyagers, wanderers, travelers, and people who have the drive to reinvent themselves. I've always found that fascinating. I come from a bit of that myself. So yeah, that's really the essence of the story. It's also a kind of a journey into alternative ways of choosing to live, which, I think is one of the things, if you're a parent or just a person who loves to wander, that you want to teach your children they don't necessarily have to go the sort of traditional route, and that there are so many alternatives to the way we wander through life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
What inspired your own personal journey that obviously influenced this documentary?
Well, as I said, I come from a long line of journeyers, more of a matriarchy, actually. It's the people that really inspired me. I was in Belize for the first time with my family. The second time I went down, I was looking for an opportunity to do a teaching workshop, teaching a short story writing workshop, and I wanted to do it somewhere where I might be able to make a difference, not at the local library. I was in the midst of getting my master's in writing, and I needed to do this teaching practicum. So I chose to do it in Belize. And while I was there, I'm really by training and experience more of a filmmaker. I kept finding these people that I just found fascinating. And I kept kind of cataloging their stories and thinking how great it would be to go back there and get them on film. And then, by hook and crook, meaning, my cousin said, I'll do the video and the sound. And I have experience as a filmmaker, more in feature films, actually. I lived in Los Angeles for many years and worked in a variety of capacities. But once she got on board, it was just, for me, the green light. I knew we could make it for a minimal budget. I set it up for 10 days. I went down, went down for just a scout to get my interviews lined up. And then over 10 days, we shot the film. And when I came back, honestly, I wasn't sure I had a film, which often happens. You have this idea, you go, you think you're going to get, this sort of solidified vision, which of course, when you're making a documentary, will always morph into something else. And so that's what happened. Yeah.
Coming from the film world in terms of full-length features and doing your first documentary, were there elements that you felt from a storytelling perspective bridged over into you taking and tackling a documentary?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Absolutely. All of us filmmakers are storytellers. But this particular story, I had written my thesis for my master's program, and there were elements of a woman's journey into the unknown, the sort of external, internal voyage, kind of along the lines of the novel Wild. I don't know if you've read that by Cheryl Strayed. Yeah. And sorry, I keep disappearing off camera.
That's okay.
Space Center, Sand Focus, that I decided to integrate in, and it really was the internal voice of the narrator. What is the journey that the narrator takes while, going on going into the unknown? And you can see vignettes of that. I doubt you've gotten to see all the films, but more power to you if you have. There are little vignettes throughout the story where you hear the voice of the Voyager, the internal voice of the Voyager, along with the on-camera interviews with my subjects. You hear this voice kind of eke in, and I really wanted to integrate that. I even thought about doing a really fictionalized parallel journey with an actress, but I ended up, for budgetary reasons and time, sticking to what you end up seeing in the film, which is this narrator's voice interwoven throughout.
Well, it sounds like a beautiful voyage of self-discovery. We're looking forward to seeing it next week at La Femme Film Festival. If you guys want tickets, you can get them below. Alexandra, tell us where we can find more about your work, where we can find you on social, etc.
You can find me on lexproductions.net. Also, you can find me at LexProd on Instagram, at The Lure of This Land on Instagram. Also on Facebook, Lex Productions, at The Lure of This Land. But Lex Productions, my website, lexproductions.net, don't forget the net part, is the main hub for, information about screenings and things. In fact, I need to update it because we have quite a few festivals coming, online festivals.
Net to find more about Alexandra. Please get your tickets below so that you can watch her beautiful film, The Lure of This Land, next week at the La Femme Film Festival. Alexandra, thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Adrushya.
Better every time.
Bye.
Hi, how are you? Emily.
How are you?
Emily Evan Ray.
We meet you.
It's very nice to meet you too. We are at the La Femme Film Festival preview. We are talking to our filmmakers. This is Emily Evan Ray, and your film is called Stop the Bleed. Can you tell us a little bit about your film, which we will be screening this coming week?
Yeah, of course. So Stop the Bleed is a feature-length documentary. And it's actually my debut movie. I've never made a documentary.
Congratulations.
Before. But this is a truly heartfelt story about the tragic mass shooting that happened at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on Valentine's Day in Parkland, Florida. And it's a different take because we've heard a lot about Parkland. It's a very polarizing, it's a very big thing that happened, and there's a lot of emotions that were left after everything dissipated. And so my documentary really talks about the lives that were lost, the children and the faculty who were unfortunately killed in the building, and the aftermath, the emotional turmoil that is taken after all the cameras are away and after everything's gone. Like, what is left in a community, the families, the friends, the people who were affected very first and foremost, who lost people that they loved, and what that means and what it looks like to really go through that kind of traumatizing event and the damage that causes. So
what inspired you to tell this specific story?
Well, I am just 21. I started this project when I was 18 years old, and I had just graduated high school. Okay. I realized that these kids and faculty who experienced this, they were right around my age. They were my peers, My sister was still in high school, so it was very personal to me. I realized, it could have easily have been my school, and also I have a personal connection to it because I'm actually from there. I'm from Parkland, Coral Springs. My family is all from there. My mom was a teacher there. My dad's a police officer. My grandparents lived there. I grew up there until moving to California, but that's where I'm from. And I remember watching it on the news that day. And I remember my grandma texting me. She's like, go look at what happened to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and I turn on the news immediately, and I'm seeing like these drone shots and these helicopters and just kids and families and just complete and total chaos, as you can imagine. And I'm sitting there and like, I know where that is. You know, I drive by there every time I'm in Florida. I was there constantly. And so it was very personal to me to know that this is a community that I was a part of, you know, and these are people who are in the same age as me and the same, you know, community, same generationally. And it was really hard for me to grapple with that. So I felt so drawn to these families and to these kids and to these faculty members' families who lost their lives. And I felt like I needed to share their stories and honor them in a way that was right, and a way that their families wanted to talk about them. Because truthfully, these people, these kids, these faculty members who lost their lives are more than victims of a mass shooting. They had so much life to live and so much to give. And it was important to see that.
Being your first documentary, as you got into the filmmaking process, I'm sure this was cathartic in some way, having been so close to it. But were there things more specifically about becoming a filmmaker that you found challenging with your first feature?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost funny because, you know, I grew up an actor and I have been acting my whole life. So I grew up on set. I knew that part of it. Like I was on the other side of the screen, and I did get to watch these filmmakers and these TV producers and directors do their job and do it very well. And I was almost inspired by that. But getting to my own set and doing my own documentary, I learned completely on the way. Like I remember first day I showed up there because this was such a passion project. It was like, I have to do this, but whether or not I know all the steps, I'll learn it on the way. And I did. I remember day one, I was just like, how do I work this ginormous camera that I had never known? And Jodie Foster, a brilliant actress director, once said, everything you need to know is inside of you. So I took that advice with me, and I realized that, you know, I'll be able to learn this through this experience, through the people that I'm interviewing. And as a director, I have to learn to make choices, and I have to learn how to communicate with people and how to direct, you know, people who are not necessarily comfortable with this. And I need to be able to make everyone feel as comfortable as possible. And I feel like they taught me along the way, and I taught them. And it was really an eye-opening experience. And I'm so grateful that this was what my first project was. I would never have it any other way.
As a filmmaker and an artist, what do you hope that people take away from your story when they see it this week? What is the thing, the resonance, the first-time filmmaker that you hope that people leave your films with?
Well, I want people to understand that these kids and these faculty members that lost their lives are more than just victims. They were people, they are people, and they had brilliant lives. And you need to understand that we need to start communicating with each other. You know, we need to look out for one another. And you see through this documentary, like this community of Parkland, they are such a unique group of people because they are people from different races, religions, genders, like everything you can imagine, just in this one melting pot here in Parkland. And you picture Parkland as, you know, this idyllic town, you know, like everyone came there to move there to raise their families there. And that's really what Parkland is. And I want people to see that, you know, even though there's all these differences among people, through this tragedy, they were able to come together and they were able to communicate with one another and really be there for each other and lean on each other. And it's a beautiful thing to see that comes out of something so horrific.
Emily, can you tell us really quick where we can find more information both about this film and about you? And of course, everyone, please buy your tickets to the Femme Film Festival. Emily's film, Stop the Bleed, will be showing there this coming week, the 15th through the 18th. Emily, where can we find you?
Personally, you can find me on Instagram at Emily Evan Ray, just my name. And then for Stop the Bleed, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. On Instagram, it's Stop the Bleed _. And on that Instagram page, it takes you to all the other socials.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing your film. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you.
Cynthia, hi, how are you? My name is Marusha. Thank you for joining us today for the Femme Film Festival. We're so excited. You have a script that you've written called Happy Hour, right? About a young boy. And we'll be,
sorry. It's Happy Hour is a film that's about a young and ambitious woman in the liquor industry. And as she navigates
no worries. Apologies. Tell us about your film.
Yeah, so the film basically was inspired by a 5-year tenure that I had in the wine industry and spirits industry. It's a very unique kind of dark
world. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very interesting underbelly of a world. And sometimes, there's a lot of business practices that are encouraged that are not necessarily legal. And it's also an extremely male-dominated industry as well. So the film Happy Hour is about a young woman named Kate Montgomery, and it's how she navigates her way through this very corrupt, challenging world of this industry and how she does what she has to do to get ahead. But it also chronicles the difficulties that she faces, like sexism, sexual harassment, and how she handles that in the industry.
What a poignant topic to be taking on, especially with that setting of the film, the wine and beer industry, what goes on within it. Is this a film, is this your first feature film?
Yeah, this is the first feature film that I've written. And it was just kind of inspired by everything that I had seen working in the business.
As you're creating your tonality as a filmmaker, as a first-time filmmaker, what is it that you hope people take away from your films?
Well, yeah, with all of the scripts that I write, what I'm hoping is I'm generally trying to create more roles, more opportunities for women and actors of color specifically, and also to talk about stories of people on the margins. With this film specifically, I wanted to shed light on an industry that nobody knows anything about. I think it's really important that people are aware of these open secrets that are happening in the liquor industry and, start paying attention, because sexual harassment it's a very insidious and damaging thing for women, for also their families. And I think it's really important that we start a conversation about it in the workplace.
Well, congratulations on finding a smart, fresh way to bring up a subject that really is important to all of us. I look forward to seeing your unique perspective and watching Happy Hour next week. If you guys want tickets to the Femme Film Festival, you can get them below. Tell us, Cynthia, where can we find more about you as a filmmaker, you and your filmmaking and Happy Hour?
Yeah, you can find more about me at C. Merston on Instagram. That's my profile handle, and keep you posted for more updates from there.
Okay, could you spell that for people?
CMERSTEN.
Okay, C. Merston, guys. Find more about Cynthia. Please tune in to see Happy Hour next week, and the links are below how you can get your tickets to the Femme Film Festival. Cynthia, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.